Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR 2. How would you feel if the US government made the day for voting a holiday? Serious question. Are elections in the US not on Sundays but on regular working days? Yup, I think they're always on Tuesdays. Fun fact: voting day is actually the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November. So if November 1st is a Tuesday, that's not voting day, it would be the following week. So we should have Monday and Tuesday off. Wednesday too, if you count the return trip. We have elections on Sundays and vote by mail if you order the papers before the election. This is to make it easier for most working people to vote. If the US always does it on Tuesdays, together with the big fuzz against mail voting, this sounds like a scheme to prevent the working people from voting. So a free day for votes might be good for you. Would be interesting to see what changed if the working people would have a chance to actually participate in elections with larger numbers. Originally it was a scheme to make it easier for people to vote. The majority of people used to make a living in agriculture, and since most didn't live in cities, but rather rural areas, it would take one day to get to their voting place. Sunday was seen as impractical since everyone went to mass, and Wednesday was market day for farmers. So Tuesday was picked as it was seen as the most convenient option. The fact it's in November also has to do with farm culture. Spring and summer and early fall were seen as impractical since that's when planting and harvesting take place. By November the harvest has been completed and it's not yet harsh winter weather. So basically no, it was not to deter voting. But now most people don't work in agriculture, and I agree that it needs to be updated. I feel like that is a problem with a lot of laws in the US. They were actually well thought out in the beginning, but then circumstances changed and no one bothered, or dared, to change the laws with them. 100% correct. Thomas Jefferson wrote that we should provide in our Constitution for its revision at stated periods. Quote, Our generation should have the solemn opportunity to update the Constitution every 19 or 20 years, thus allowing it to be handed on with periodical repairs, from generation to generation, to the end of time. That's one of the founding fathers. But now we wouldn't dare change anything, and it shows. Every 19 or 20 years, and yet many members of Congress have been in place for over 30 plus years. Not much change and revision happening there. Take guns as an example. Back in the days it must have been essential to be able to defend your property with your own guns, to deter people from even trying. But nowadays it's just outdated. Own a musket for home defense, since that's what the founding fathers intended. 4 ruffians break into my house. What the devil? As I grab my powdered wig and Kentucky rifle, blow a golf ball-sized hole through the first man. He's dead on the spot. Draw my pistol on the second man. Miss him entirely because it's smoothbore and nails the neighbor's dog. I have to resort to the cannon mounted at the top of the stairs loaded with grape shot. Tally-ho lads, the grape shot shreds 2 men in the blast. The sound and extra shrapnel set off car alarms, fix bayonet and charge the last terrified rapscallion. He bleeds out waiting on the police to arrive, since triangular bayonet wounds are impossible to stitch up, just as the founding fathers intended. I feel like it'd encourage more people to actually vote, especially if they kept their 4th of July energy for that day. Let's vote on 4th of July. No way people are giving up a day of barbecue and beer drinking to go stand in line and poke at a voting machine. Maybe if they have a free beer and a sparkler instead of an "I voted" sticker. America wasn't even technically born on the 4th of July. America was born over several decades, but the Declaration of Independence is seen as the document marking America's birth. The question is, were we born when it was written, signed, agreed upon, or ratified? This is basically the "when does life begin" question. But for a country, April 19th, 1775, we started getting busy. July the 4th, 1776 was conception. June 21st, 1788, the United States were born. War of 1812 was our terrible twos. Civil War, identity crisis as we hit puberty. World War I and the rise of America as a world monitoring superpower. We get a part-time job. World War II, we get promoted and now it's a full-time job. Space race, information age, hippie era, college, drugs. We tried working a desk job in the 80s and 90s, but a workplace incident led us down a spiral resulting in such low self-esteem that we find ourselves now stuck in an abusive relationship with a pathological narcissist and, oh, dear God, please let us not be pregnant. Edit. Okay. Firstly, thanks for the awards. It confirms my hypothesis that sleep deprivation begets Reddit swag. And secondly, some of y'all are taking this way too seriously. Chillax. America was birthed from a giant bald eagle on July 4, 1776. With 50 stars on its flag from day one. It'll be a cold day in hell before I recognize Missouri. Make it a holiday and have voting last either a week or a 24-hour period so people deemed essential workers can actually have a chance. Yeah, the biggest issue is that even if it was a holiday, that would only apply to federal workers and employees of businesses that actually close during holidays. There are tons of businesses that stay open during holidays, especially in the service industry. Making Election Day a holiday wouldn't do much good for people working in restaurants, grocery stores, movie theaters, etc. Most states have early voting that lasts a week or more prior to Election Day. Also, you can request mail-on ballots, however, that varies from state to state. 9 states offer no early voting and not all allow no excuse absentee voting. That needs to be fixed. IMHO. Actually, coming from another country, I really cannot understand why it should not be a holiday or a Sunday, where most people have time. As a democratic country, you should enable most of your citizens to be able to vote. And that is generally the case when they have time to vote. Simple. By preventing masses of people ease in access of voting, you ensure that laws they would vote against have a better chance of passing. America isn't really free. I'm American. Even more, in Spain you can be randomly elected to watch and keep the track of the votes. If you do, you are paid and don't have to work the next day. Like jury duty. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt if you got selected. But all the tables to vote have 5 randomly selected citizens that 1. Makes sure everybody only votes once. 2. Checks only 1 vote is inserts per person. 3. Counts the votes. Once you're 18 you can be selected. You gain between 50 to 120-ish euro if you're selected. And you can opt out only for major causes. I'd work just like I work every holiday. Yeah, it will become a day for mattress sales and the people with the least access to voting will have to work and still have the least access to voting. I'm not opposed, but it's not the panacea people claim it to be. We have a general election this year and I am working it as a polling place manager. We have voting on a Saturday and this year because of COVID they're opening some of the voting places the Saturday prior also. For 2 weeks leading up to the elections you can cast a special vote. So there are plenty of opportunities and no one has to miss out. In fact, this year, for the first time, you don't even have to be enrolled to vote. You can enroll and vote at the same time. I can't believe America has an election on a Tuesday. That's absolutely insane. Not only should it be a public holiday for you, but companies should be legally required to release staff, if they are working, in order for them to be able to vote. They are legally required to release them to vote. At will employment makes that legal requirement kind of a joke. Vote by mail, then it wouldn't need to be a holiday. Biggest problem with a holiday is that at best only office workers would get the day off. Not blue-collar, fast food, customer-facing services. And wage workers. It also doesn't address lack of polling stations in some counties. Experience: 20 years voting by mail in Oregon. I would vote for more education on the correct usage of commas in schools. Horror. Thanks for watching LWIAR 2. The best of all time r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out the original LWIAR channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.